Gotta put on a face, gotta put on a voice, gotta speak with action.
Hey, welcome to a new episode of He Said with me, Jackie.
And myself, Dylan.
So, did you guys know Starbucks is removing 13 drinks off its menu starting on March 4th? They are Espresso Frappuccino, Cafe Vanilla Frappuccino, Java Chip Frappuccino, White Chocolate Mocha Frappuccino, Chai Creme Frappuccino, Cremera Ribbon Crunch Creme Frappuccino, Double Chocolate Chip Creme Frappuccino, Chocolate Cookie Crumble Creme Frappuccino, White Chocolate Creme Frappuccino, Ice Mocha Lemonade, White Hot Chocolate, Royal English Breakfast Latte, and Honey Almond Milk Flat White. Crazy, right? That's what I said.
That's sure one tongue twister, my goodness, Jackie.
I think it's kind of crazy. 13 drinks removed from its menu at Starbucks.
I don't even go to Starbucks and I'm sad after hearing that. My goodness. What if one of those is my favorite, Jackie? What if one of those is my favorite?
Okay, we're gonna start with small talk. So, we've been thinking about changing the format of the show and we will gradually roll out new features. We are planning to introduce some new video content and bring some exciting guests to join us. As for the name change to He Said with Jackie and Dylan, it just feels right. When you listen to us, it's really all about what we are saying. Our perspective, our conversations, we feel He Said was a much better fit for the vibe of our show.
I do quite agree. I think it's a little bit of a change with a little bit of a change of voice as well. Just bringing in new with 2025.
And Dylan is the new member of the show, so can you tell us what's your dealio and what you're going to cover for the show?
I'd love to. I'm assuming I'm just sitting here as a little co-host to bring in the more gaming content side of everything. Hopefully I can bring you guys some really nice news and I can confuse Jackie a lot with a lot of things he's never heard of before.
I bet. Are you done or you want to add some more?
Oh, no, please go right ahead. Why don't you tell us a bit about that entertainment news? I think there's a lot of interesting things from this week.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with the entertainment news this week. First one I'm gonna bring you is YouTube is introducing a new subscription called Premium Lite. Currently, YouTube offers a subscription called YouTube Premium, which gives users the ability to watch all videos plus access to YouTube Music without any ads. On February 20th, Bloomberg reported that YouTube is developing another subscription option called Premium Lite. This service will focus on offering podcasts and how to video clip without any advertisements. The existing premium plan currently costs about $13.99 per month. As for the Premium Lights, the price hasn't been officially confirmed. However, some Australian users already have access to this service. Report a price of Australian dollars 11.99, which is approximately $7.50 US dollars. YouTube Premium Lite will soon launch in the US, Australia, Germany, and Thailand, with potential plans to expand to other countries in the future. Second news is Maya Hawke from Stranger Things was on the Happy Sad Confused podcast to talk about how the entertainment industry is changing, that the line between being an actor and a celebrity has gotten extremely blurry. Maya mentioned that she has spoken to so many smart directors about deleting her Instagram accounts, but many of them told her it was actually important to keep it. She said that these directors told her when casting someone in a movie, producers often provide directors with sheets showing the number of collective followers each actor has to help determine the casting choices. So if she lost these followers, she may be at a disadvantage in getting cast in a movie. However, Maya also said follower may not apply to every casting or to all directors and producers. There are still a few directors who cast people based on how well they can work together and what the actors can do. Maya mentioned that Quentin Tarantino, Bradley Cooper, and Wes Anderson are among those few directors. Maya Hawke appeared in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino, Maestro, directed by Bradley Cooper, and Asteroid City, a film directed by Wes Anderson. Maya currently has 8.9 million followers on her Instagram, so that's quite a lot. Okay, the biggest and hottest entertainment news over the past couple of weeks involved lawsuits tied to Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni. I mean, Justin Baldoni is not Blake Lively's husband, but that's the people that get involved. As many of you know, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni starred together in It Ends With Us. On December 20th, 2024, Blake Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department accusing Justin Baldoni of the harassment during the film production. Her claims included unsolicited physical contact and unprofessional comments. Baldoni denied the allegation, and his legal team argued that communication between the two indicated a professional relationship and that Blake's claims were unfounded. When the SH case came out, Baldoni's talent agency, WMU, immediately dropped him. Colin Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, expressed her support for Blake Lively, calling her brave and inspiring. Just the podcast co-host Liz Plank from Man Enough also announced her departure from the show after the statement came out. Liz and Justin been worked together for 4 years, but because of the allegation and without finding out the truth, she just dropped him and deleted all the episodes for their podcast. The New York Times is also involved in this lawsuit. On December 21st last year, they published an article titled "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine," which detailed Blake's allegation against Baldoni. After the article was released, Justin and others came out accusing Times of altered communications, stripped of necessary content, and deliberately spliced to mislead in the reporting. Rumors have circulated suggesting that Blake collaborated with the New York Times to publish this article detailing her allegation against Baldoni. Justin's team argued that metadata on the Times website shows that the paper had access to Blake's civil rights complaint well before the article was published before December 21st. And then on February 2nd, 2025 this year, Justin Baldoni launched a website, thelawsuitsinfo.com, to counter Blake Lively harassment allegation. The site includes a 224-page amended complaint and a 168-page timeline of relevant events. This website presents solid evidence, including text message, emails, a detailed timeline of the events, and behind-the-scenes footage from It Ends With Us. Justin's team launched this website because Blake's team was pushing for a gag order to prevent Justin's lawyer from speaking publicly and swaying public opinion. By releasing the website, Justin's team made all the details public, essentially rendering the gag order unnecessarily. On January 16 this year, Justin countered the lawsuit against Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and other publicists with a $400 million lawsuit. He accused Blake's side of civil extortion, defamation, and more. Following Blake's complaints about harassment and a retaliatory smear campaign, additionally, Justin's team sued the New York Times over the article we just mentioned earlier. In my opinion, what Justin's team is doing is a bold move. Normally, you present all the evidence in court, not ahead of the hearing, but Justin's team released everything publicly through the website. As Johnny Depp lawyer said, posting the pleading doesn't seem to be out of bounds. These are pleadings made in the public records. Justin's team also leaked a 10-minute video from the set of the film. The footage showed Blake Lively going in and out of character, discussing how to act in the scenes and telling Justin what should be done. This is their way of showing that Blake's claim, specifically that no consent was given for certain scenes, are false. The first court hearing took place on February 3rd this year in New York. The judge did not prohibit either side from publishing information to the public or speaking with reporters, but they did rule that evidence that would be prejudicial to a jury and inadmissible at trial could not be released. The next hearing is scheduled for March 2025, which is next year, that the dates could change. On February 19, Blake Lively amended complaint dropped online, a full-on 144 pages of document. Her team submitted this new complaint just 2 minutes before the midnight court deadline. In the document, Blake alleged that Justin Baldoni made 2 female cast members uncomfortable on the set of It Ends With Us. While the document does not name these 2 cast members, but it states they are willing to testify in court if needed. If you read through the Blake Lively amended complaint, it came across as more about her personal feeling toward Justin rather than providing solid evidence received and proof compared to Justin's legal filings. There are no new facts or substantial claims against Justin, making the document appear largely speculatively and hearsay. Blake's attorneys also submitted a subpoena for Justin Baldoni's phone and internet records in an effort to expose him and others allegedly involved in the smear campaign against her. However, Justin's legal team has urged U.S. District Judge Louis J. Lippman to deny these subpoenas. In addition, on Thursday, February 20th, Blake Lively's legal team requested a stronger protective order, citing threats and harassment directed at her and her family. Blake is suing Justin for alleged acid on the set and for the orchestrating a smear campaign against her. She has also added a defamation claim against Justin's lawyer. Meanwhile, Justin is countersuing Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and the New York Times for allegedly attempting to destroy his reputation and career. But keep in mind that all of this started with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds suing Justin Baldoni first. And I think it's because they both are under the assumption that he wouldn't have the financial resources to fight back. However, Steve Sarowitz, the billionaire co-founder of Waywear Studio alongside Baldoni, stepped in to support him. Steve, with a net worth of approximately $2.4 billion, is backing Justin up. Now it seems like Blake and Ryan Reynolds are hoping for a settlement, but Justin, Steve, and his lawyer, Brian Friedman, now saying they're not going to settle, they're going to fight. So that will be interesting to see what's going to happen, especially next year when they are going to court. And speaking of lawsuit, Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer has quit after his defense in his sex trafficking case. Anthony Ricco, who joined Diddy's defense team in September 2024, filed a motion on Friday, February 21st, in the Southern District of New York Federal Court to withdraw as a counsel without further explaining for his departure. However, according to court document obtained by TMZ, Anthony stated, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standard for criminal justice. Sources close to TMZ revealed that Rico felt unable to establish or maintain the kind of relationship necessary to effectively defend his client. Sean Diddy Combs was indicted by federal prosecutors in September on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and kidnapping. The indictment includes 3 alleged female victims, one of whom is his ex-girlfriend Cassie. Cassie is expected to testify when the trial begins in May. And that's my entertainment news for this week.
Gosh, Jackie, that's such heavy stories from just 1 week. My goodness. Poor Blake Lively. I always find it so funny that they're both trying to just sway a public's opinion, which is what frustrates me about the legal system in these stories, because it's always what can we get people to believe rather than, oh no, I'm just saying my piece and leaving it be.
Yeah, I think because of their public figures, so that's why they're doing this kind of thing. I mean, if this happened to normal people, they you know. That's not gonna happen.
100%. Same as you bringing up Miss Hawke's case, where she's just trying to go, look, I want to live my life. I don't necessarily want to have all these followers on Instagram. Could we maybe get rid of that? And their only plea is, well, you probably won't get a job in the future if you don't have social media. So it's getting to a point now where I think social media is taking over just a little bit too much with these number games of how many followers do you have.
That's a very valid point. Next, we're gonna move on to Newcomers Corner, and Dylan gonna talk about what's new for gaming.
Okay, let's get into this. This is some fun stuff we've had this week. We have Monster Hunter Now coming out with some collaborative Monster Hunter Wilds. They're trying to get their mobile game Monster Hunter Now into some of the spotlight as they're bringing out their new Monster Hunter Wilds games quite soon. A lot of people have seen some news articles here and there claiming that one specifically was that it's a Hollywood blockbuster of the series. I think a lot of people are really liking the graphics that are coming into play, looking absolutely beautiful.
Do you know when is the Wild coming out?
It is coming out this week, Friday. The 28th of February 2025 will be the initial release date.
Because as far as I know, the game will come out in PlayStation 5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X. But if it's going to be on the subscription, that would be awesome.
We have some unfortunate news there.
Oh no.
Monster Hunter Wilds will not be available on Game Pass at launch, as an announcement has been made by Capcom or Microsoft. I'm not too sure why they say or Microsoft, but one of the two official companies have decided that they will not be releasing it on the date. Doesn't mean that it won't be coming to Game Pass. They've just announced that on day one release, it will not be one of Xbox Game Pass's famous day one release. We do have some other cool day one releases that have come out recently as well. As of this week, we had quite an interesting, little bit controversial game, Avowed, release for day one on Game Pass, which we can get into a little bit later as well.
Okay.
However, we can come back on Monster Hunter Now. It is the mobile game where it's a little bit similar to Pokemon Go, except you now have Monster Hunter World. They recently came off of their Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast had one big event, and now their next event will be their own game. Monster Hunter Wilds will be collaborating for some cool in-game weapons and items that you'll be able to see from Monster Hunter Wilds being released. Okay, then we can move on to our second one over there that I mentioned, Avowed. If you are a fan of the action RPG genre, you may really enjoy this game. However, a lot of people claiming that they enjoy fantasy RPG games are not loving the game that much. It is very densely populated in the fantasy genre. We have a lot of fantasy swords and shields, maces, all your sort of medieval weaponry. We've got a lot of magic. However, I personally have used the magic system. I haven't that many hours, so I can't say with a very strong opinion that I don't like the system, but from the little bit that I've used of the magic system, it's not my favorite in video games, especially when we have the claim of it's very similar to your Skyrim. So any of you people who really enjoy Skyrim, we're supposed to have this as sort of your waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 to maybe one day release if they ever decide to. Thanks, Todd Howard, for postponing it so many times. In my opinion, go back and play Skyrim for now. You'll enjoy that a bit more. If you're really wanting something new, something with a bit of a fresh paint, Avowed will take over for that, as it is a very beautiful world to play. And a lot of people have said it's a decently polished game. They can play it from beginning to end with very little issues. The biggest complaint I've seen, though, where there's just too many options for talking about things that just don't have much relevance to the game. A lot of people have used the example of how you can go and talk to a herbalist, and there's about 40 different options to talk about the different herbs in the garden, which I guess if you're a herbalist and you're an enthusiast of the plants, might be really entertaining. But I also would imagine you would want to get to the end of that discussion and find out what your mission is or your quest, rather than feel like you should be learning more about herbs in your free time.
I agree. When I play a game, I would rather have less dialogues than dialogues.
You're a get to the action sort of man.
Exactly.
And let's move on to the last new release we have coming up. This is a little bit more of a trailer release we've had than a full game release, but we have some exciting news coming up with Hades 2 for any of you indie developer lovers like myself. They're still in early access, and they've already announced the fact that they have a brand new expansion coming out on it. It's not quite a full DLC, but it is the War Song update that they'll be having as a small expansion to give you some extra goodies while playing. There's a lot of updates to make sure that some of the weapons that you have been complaining about are doing a lot better, and some of the weapons that you've been complaining about because they're way too strong and make the game too easy, those will probably be nerfed just a little bit. So yes, I won't go too in depth, as I'd like everyone to go and check it out for themselves, but if you're excited about Hades 2 and you really love a good roguelike with a lot of that, all that juicy Greek mythology in it, go check out Hades 2, the Warsong update trailer on YouTube.
So Hades 2 is an early access game.
Correct. At the moment.
And they already have an update for an early access.
Yes. That's an interesting topic we could use for another time, Jackie, as a lot of gaming companies are going into quite a funnel trend of putting their games into early access where they can live update the game instead of having to bring it out fully and then claiming that it's a full polished game. So it's a way for games to come out early, a little bit of early funding so that they can keep making the good games that they want to be making. All right, and then I think we should move along to some newcomers in the TV and movie industry.
Okay, for TV and movie this week, there are some new updates about the live-action He-Man Master of the Universe movie. As far as we know, Nicholas Gallison stars as He-Man. Previously, we got to know that Camila Mendes is set to portray Tila. Jared Leto will play Skeletor. Idris Elba takes on the role of Duncan, or Man-at-Arms. And Marina Baccarin, James Pufoy, and Alison Brie are also part of the cast as well. This week, 3 additional cast members were announced. Sashia Sameta, a former SNL cast member known for Agatha All Along, is set to play Susie. Jong Soo Sang from the Netflix show The Brother's Son will portray Ram-Man. Lastly, Christian Vunipola, known for Miguel Wants to Fight and Quentin Pines, will take on the role of Hussein. There are some new leaked pictures from the filming has also surfaced online. It looks like part of the movie is set on Earth, as one picture shows Nicholas Gallison being escorted by the police, so that's what's showing in the picture. Master of the Universe is produced by Amazon MGM Studios with Travis Knight directing. The film is set to hit theater exclusively on June 5th, 2026. Next is Hulu has picked up Mindy Kaling's new comedy series titled Not Suitable for Work. Mindy serves as the creator and the executive producer of the series alongside Charlie Grandy. The half-hour single-camera comedy centers around 5 work-obsessed 20-somethings striving for professional success, and if they have time, professional happiness in Manhattan's most glamorous neighborhood, Murray Hill. Not Suitable for Work marks Mindy's 3rd series for Hulu, following the Mindy Project and the comedy series 4 Weddings and a Funeral. In addition, she co-created and executive produced The Sex Life of College Girls and the animated series Velma, both currently airing on Max. Her upcoming comedy series Running Point, starring Kate Hudson, premieres on Netflix on February 27, so maybe by the time you listen to this podcast, it's already on Netflix. Some exciting news about 911 and Dr. Odyssey. A new 911 spin-off received a Strict 2 series order from ABC and will be set in Nashville. Titled Nine Woman Nashville, the spin-off is written and executive produced by Ryan Murphy. Nine Woman Nashville marks the second spin-off in the Nine Woman franchise. The first Nine Woman non-star premiered on Fox in 2020 and concluded in February this year. The show faced economic challenges because it was produced by a Disney-owned company but aired on the Fox network. The shift to Nashville for the new spin-off was influenced by tax credit offer in the South. In other news, on Thursday, March 20th, Nine Woman and Dr. Odyssey will have a crossover episode. Nine Woman starring Angela Bassett as LAPD Sergeant Athena Grant will intersect with Dr. Odyssey, led by Joshua Jackson as Dr. Max Bankman, and on board cruise ship Doctor. The episode takes place during the casino week aboard the Odyssey. Athena Grant will be the expected guest on the cruise ship. She suspects two passengers are targeting the ship vault, and she enlists Mac's help to solve the case. Both Nine Woman and Dr. Odyssey air Thursday on ABC, starting at 8 p.m., with new episodes returning March 6th. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what's on right now. In movie theaters, Stephen King The Monkey is out. Theo James and Elijah Wood are in it. The Unbreakable Boy with Zachary Levi is out. Mueller's in Marriage, Lifeline, Cleaner, Old Guy, and Ex-Husbands are also out in movie theater. So if you're interested, you can go watch it. Video on demand this week, The Quiet Ones. It is an intense, propulsive thriller inspired by true story of the biggest heist in Danish history. The movie is out today, available now everywhere you rent your movies. Nickel Boys, September 5, The Last Showgirl is also out on video on demand. On Amazon Prime, we have Popeye's Revenge is out. It is a low-budget domain horror. I heard this movie make no sense or whatsoever. Runtime is 79 minutes and you can stream exclusively on Amazon Prime right now. Richard Season 3 is out. Adam Richardson returns as Jack Richard. The first 3 episodes premiered on February 20th. Broken Rage. It is a Japanese 2-part action comedy movie, a serious Yakuza action and the self-parodying comedy of the same story. And Clean Slate, a comedy series starring George Wallace. The story is about a trans woman returning to her hometown, Alabama, is reconnecting with her estranged father. It's also out on Amazon Prime. Netflix, we have Zero Day, a political thriller starring Robert De Niro as former U.S. President George Millen, who teamed up with current President Mitchell, played by Angela Bassett, to investigate a catastrophe cyber attack. And I watched the first episode. It's pretty interesting. I think I watched first 2 episodes already. It's pretty good. Running Points, the comedy we mentioned earlier, with co-created by Minnie Kaling, featured Kay Hudson as the executive taking on her family basketball team, premiere on February 27. So by the time you listen to this, already out. Love is Blind Season 8 is out. Toxic Tongues is also out on Netflix. On Apple TV, we have Service Season 2 is out. This is a psychological thriller. We turn to its second season. Severance Season 2 Episode 6 is also out on Apple TV. On Hulu, we have A Dozen Blows, a stand-up comedy special. Chris Distefano is Just Unfortunate is also out on Hulu. Paramount Plus, we have 1923 Season 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Yellow Jacket Season 3 are also out. On Peacock, we have The Wish Swap, Suit LA, it is a spin-off of Suit set in Los Angeles. It's also out. HBO Max, we have The White Lotus Season 3. Others, we have Lau and Eric interview on Two Angry Men podcast. You can watch it on YouTube or listen to whenever you listen to podcast. Christina on the Coast Season 6 is on Discovery Channel. Will Smith Finding My Father is on air on ABC February 26. And that's newcomers I have for this week. Next year, I'm going to tell you what's on gaming news for this week. Dylan, what do we have?
Ooh, we have some cool things that have been coming up through the gaming news this week as well. Aside from all of our fun newcomers, we start off with a little bit of sad news before we get to the fun part.
Oh no.
For anyone who is a little bit of an older gamer, people who appreciate when, in my opinion, games were at their absolute best with game design and storytelling. Viktor Antonov, the visionary artist who defined Half-Life 2 and also Dishonored, has unfortunately passed away this past week, and unfortunately, we lose people like him quite too often. We have visionaries who make some of our favorite video games. Sometimes it feels like they leave a bit too soon. It would be very nice to see him in some of their future, maybe Half-Life 3 release. Would it be nice to have him on those as well? Moving along, we have Epic Games banning their Fortnite player during quite a major event that they have. The news come out quite a lot later than the actual event. So this event actually took place in 2023, and it was discovered quite shortly after that by Epic Games. We have a player who I believe was by the name Repulse that was qualifying for the 2023 FNCS Grand Finals. They were all the way in the finals, Jackie. And it was only after the finals and after this team had won that we discovered that the one player, Repulse specifically, had his qualifications done by someone else. He had shared his account to someone who goes by the player tag Forbes, and Forbes was actually the one who qualified for the 2023 FNCS Grand Finals and not Repulse himself. So unfortunately, when you cheat in your qualifiers, Epic Games seems to go and take your winnings and donates it to charity instead of allowing you to keep it. So that's what they've been showing the world at the moment. Don't cheat in our video games. Don't cheat in Fortnite. Don't cheat in any of our multiplayer video games. If we do find out and you have winnings, they will go to charity. You unfortunately will have worked very hard for nothing.
I wonder why it took them so long to find this out.
So I'm not too sure what all the little bits and pieces is. I haven't found anything that says exactly why they kept it so long, but it also might be that it came out at the time of discovery and now they're just wanting to do a little bit of a reminder. That could also be the case, but it does seem that they found out quite soon after the event. They had decided to put out a video on their social media platforms. They had put on their heading, "Cheating is never a winning strat," and they took legal action against a player who shared their account to unfairly qualify for FNCS. Now they're banned at tournaments forever, and their undeserved prize money was donated to charity. That's specifically what they had said.
Okay.
They had said this, and I think the world is quite happy that we're moving in a way where we can get rid of some cheaters. From a gamer myself, it gets quite annoying when you're trying to play online competitive video games and you find that there's other people who seem to be cheating at it.
I agree.
Okay, then something that might be fun as well. Let's dive right into the fact that Marvel Rivals game director from America and his team have just been laid off. NetEase did release the following statement regarding the surprising layoffs impacting part of the Marvel Rivals team from Seattle. The Marvel Rivals team in Seattle is not very happy that they were laid off of the project, and it seems that their entire team have just been laid off. The head of the team was a bit disappointed as now he needs to go and find his employees some different jobs and some other postings because otherwise they're going to go hungry, and I think a lot of us are enjoying Marvel Rivals who are playing it, so we prefer that they don't. We think they did quite a good job with their video game. Then yes, we can move on to another little fun story. We have some hackers that decided to plant Piratefy on Steam, which was a game that contained some malicious malware that was stealing the gamers' passwords to their Steam login accounts. This was a little game where, from what we can tell, it was up for a very short period of time before it was discovered that it was malware. Valve has also put out some just notifications to everyone who had bought and played the game that their devices most probably have malicious malware on it now. That could potentially be an issue, and they should go and get those infected devices cleaned. But as soon as they were made aware of it, they have taken it completely off of the Steam library. They're making sure that some customers, no new players will be able to be infected by this free-to-play game as well, so they don't even have to pay any money for it. Okay, and then we can move on to something that's slightly game related. GameStop in America has decided to put out a notice that until further notice, Pokemon TCG, their trading card game products, will no longer be available for pre-order, in-store, or online purchasing. They are moving forward to a future where Pokemon TCG products will be shipped directly to stores to encourage more foot traffic, with the new Prismatic Trials Pokemon TCG release, where everyone wants this Umbreon, Jackie. This Umbreon card, I don't know if you've seen it. It is beautiful. It is an Umbreon EX, and if anyone listening doesn't know what it looks like, I would encourage you to go and Google it. But do not Google the price, as it may scare you quite a bit. By the last time that I saw it, it is trading for $1,600 at the moment for just that one card.
Holy.
If you want to make a lot of money or lose a lot of money, Prismatic Trials is your place. You are not guaranteed this card in any way possible. It is only the lucky few that get the lucky few boxes that have this card in it that will be able to have either bragging rights or a lot of money, depending on what you have. All right. Do we want to kick off into the topic of the week?
Yes, so how we want to start?
Okay, I think diving right into a little bit of internet drama might be the most fun way to do so. A little bit recently, didn't happen this week, I will admit. Pirate Software, who is a streamer on Twitch, he used to be a playtester for the game itself. He was hired on and worked for Bethesda themselves, and he actually worked on World of Warcraft as testing it and making sure that when they were releasing different updates and stuff, it was working properly. Not too long ago, over the past year or so, has been growing quite exponentially in his following and has received some very cool opportunities. And so one of them being this hardcore WoW tournament that they were doing. I say tournament, it was a few different factions trying to come together and create a good fun guild that they could go and play hardcore WoW, which is just a hard version, and when you die your character's dead forever, and if you want to continue playing you have to make a new character and go and level up again to try and continue. So for all the different major events they did in the game, they would gain points for their guild, and they wanted to see which guild would win. So in that tournament sense, people were very much trying not to die, as dying meant you both lost time, you lost your character, you lost all progression you spent on that character, as well as you lose points for your team. So it was very much the aim of the game was to just not die. We have a little bit of drama here where Pirate Software himself did not die in this issue. However, he did seem to, as the WoW community call it, roach out of a situation, which just means he turned and he ran and he abandoned his team, is what they claim. And so we'll get into what exactly happened, which is starting a little bit early in the day then they do what they call a raid. So you get together with 5 or 6 of your buddies, or sometimes, which I think in this situation it was, is some strangers who you're affiliated with. So they were his guild members, but they weren't necessarily his friends. And so they went into a dungeon where there's a whole bunch of monsters, and they were trying to get to the end of it to defeat a boss that would give them some very tasty loot. And going through this area, there's something in World of Warcraft. Basically, you decide to play as one of the classes in the game. You can be an elf, you can be a dwarf, you can be a goblin, can be a troll. There's a whole lot of different, they give you a whole bunch of different actions and abilities that you can go and use in the game, as well as weapons and armor mainly then acquired through boss battles. And so we have in this scenario Pirate Software, who is a wizard troll that he is playing for his guild. And so in this very particular scenario, they're in a dungeon and they reach a point where now they do something we call pulling. So they were trying to talk it out and plan out how they're going to take out one of the enemies, and decided that walking up a ramp would be the best idea, where unfortunately this area is known for enemies being able to be pulled from really, really far away. So they've got a really long range of being able to notice you as a character and come to fight you. And so they ended up having too many enemies walking at them. We see in some clips that there's a few people in the party that are now trying to fight and slowly walk away. Pirate Software himself immediately gets on the floor. He almost dies to an enemy trying to hit him. Luckily, he has a spell that saves him, and then he gets away really fast. I don't think realized that he was one of the people that caused a little bit of an issue, but at the end of the day, he was also like, well, I was trying to comply with what the actual leader of the team, which is the tank, because the tank needs to know what they are able to manage or not. So they had sort of made him the leader. And I think he was also quite a bit more experienced than the rest of them. With Pyro Software and the drama, he roaches out for the first time. The team decides to go back in for a second try a little bit later. Not in the same place, but they did decide to make some very questionable choices. They ran into the middle of a big area where there were a lot of enemies about. So they decided to start fighting in the middle of nowhere where there was a lot of danger. Then the boss starts coming, and one of the players starts yelling, "Run!" And Pirate Software turns around and he starts walking away. And everyone's okay, and they're slowly trying to fight their way to safety, trying to keep their tank alive, trying to make sure the tank is taking hits. But if you do go watch some clips back, you notice that also the person that yells run is, one, not the shot caller, so he's not supposed to be telling the team what they should be doing. And two, he's not doing anything to assist the team. He's sort of walking backwards and forwards and not doing a whole lot to actually fight anyone. Pirate Software proceeds to run a bit. He turns back for, maybe a second or two. And he casts a spell that he tries to get a little bit of slow, a little bit of damage off. Some people argue that it wasn't what should have happened. A lot of people have argued over he didn't cast anything because the boss couldn't be slowed by his abilities, only the NPCs behind them. So a lot of people were arguing he could have done this, he could have done that, he could have done all of these things, and then all of a sudden it changes to he didn't do anything and he just ran. He didn't even turn back and look, which if you watch the feedback is very untrue. He turns back, he casts a spell for a very short amount of time. And I think it was the tank, the person being attacked, was asking for the enemies in the background behind the boss to be killed, taken out. And so he does this. He casts the spell for long enough where it does actually kill them. So he sort of goes, I've achieved what they've asked for. The tank survives for quite a lot longer, but unfortunately it is at that point that they lose one of their characters. So one of their teammates has died. And that's what the big issue is here, is that they've lost a teammate because of really poor communication and not a very good team synchronicity, no good cohesion between all of them. So this wasn't the guild leader, this was the second in command, decided to ban Pirate Software from the guild, which later on the guild leader said, look, I was unavailable at the time, but had you given me the time to have a say, I would have told you guys to get over it, and no, he shouldn't be banned because it's whatever. And this is where it gets really juicy, Jackie, because the guild leader ends up leaving the guild because of how angry he got at the guild. This isn't a temporary, oh, he left for a bit and then came back. He decided he did not want to lead this guild at all anymore because all of the people in it, all of the interactions he's seen, he was like, I'm over it, I'm done. These people are actually just not fun to be around, which I find incredibly funny because he's your leader and you treated him that badly that he left you guys.
It's interesting what you said about earlier, that a lot of people complaining about the gameplay or how other people interact in the game.
Right.
I feel like everyone think they're doing the right thing, but in reality, it may not end up that way.
Yes, exactly. So sort of like a perspective of, I think I'm doing the right thing.
Exactly. It's very interesting how everyone think, even though they are the same game, but everyone have their own style to play that game.
Yeah. Very true. And their own opinions on what is the correct way to play it as well.
As I said, like everyone think they play the correct way, but who knows?
Yeah. Okay then, I think we should now, after all of those little drama stories, move along to our music news for the week, please, Jackie.
Thank you, Dylan. Music news this week. Because Shakira canceled her Lima, Peru show during the week to abdominal pain that sent her to a hospital. She posted on February 16 on her social saying, "I'm sorry to inform you all that last night I had to go to the ER for an abdominal issues and I'm currently hospitalized." She canceled her Sunday, February 16 show at the National Stadium of Peru, which was her first of 2 back-to-back shows in the capital city. Shakira stated, "I have communicated with her doctor that I'm not in good enough condition to perform this evening." However, she returned to perform for the show on February 17 in Lima, as well as on February 20th in Colombia. Unfortunately, she had to cancel her February 21st concert in Medellin, Colombia, due to safety concern over a faulty stage roof. Shakira is now scheduled to perform in Bogota, Colombia on February 26th and 27th. Next is Lady Gaga will be on SNL as a host and a musical guest on March 8th. So if you're a Lady Gaga fan, you don't want to miss this. Cynthia Erivo posted a snippet of her upcoming album set to release on February 28th. And Lil Nas X also revealed a new single, Hot Box, coming next month as well. For concert news, Jennifer Lopez and Troye Sivan are heading to World Pride Music Festival in Washington, D.C. this June 6th and 7th. Other performances are Galactics, Grimes, Kim Petras, Marina, Paris Hilton, Purple Disco Machine, Raya, Rita Ora, RuPaul, Sylvie Tucker, and more. Sid will be the special closing guest on the 7th, so if you are a big fan of them, go have a look in Washington, D.C. And lastly, Blackpink revealed dates for their upcoming world tour kicking off in July. They will start at the Goyang Stadium in South Korea on July 5th and 6th. Then they will start their US and European tour from Los Angeles, then go to Chicago, Toronto, New York, Paris, Milan, Barcelona, London, and the last trip will be at Tokyo, Japan on 16 and 17, 2026. And also Lady Gaga announces she will be performing in Brazil on May 3rd for Mayhem on the Beach. So if you're a big fan of Lady Gaga, go have a look in Brazil. New music out this week for singles. We have Call Me When You Break Up by Selena Gomez and Gracie Abrams, Extra L by Jennie and Doche, LV Back by Don Toliver, J-Hope, Speedy, Pharrell Williams, Higher Love from Smurf soundtrack by Daisy Trill, DJ Khaled, Cardi B, Natania, and Hi. Too Much by Dove Cameron, Taste by Coco Jonas, Butterfly by Marina, Dream Woman by Suki Waterhouse, and Updates by Burna Boy. For albums this week, we have So Close to What by Tay Murray, People Watching by Sam Fender, Nothing's Ever Good Enough 2 by Ian Dior, and Reflections from the Vault of Smoke and Mirrors by Imagine Dragons. And that's my music news for this week. For competition and events, are you ready?
Yes, let's go. Okay, and for competitions and events this week, we have Pokemon Day coming up on the 27th of March, and we have a few different events that are going over the 2 days for both the 27th and 28th, because unfortunately the 27th is a Thursday, so some people might want to sit and lay back on a nice Friday evening with their Pokemon Day celebrations. So you can watch at least 30 minutes of the stream, hashtag Pokemon EUIC stream, to be able to get 200 item enhancers for, I'm not too sure, is this Pokemon Unite? Yes, this is Pokemon Unite. There are also codes to be redeemed with that. If you want to go and look those up yourselves, you can go look at what the Pokemon Unite codes to be redeemed for the Pokemon Day events. We'll also be seeing that for Pokemon Day 2025. It's been announced by Pokemon Presents as well. This will specifically be for the February 27th at 11. I'm sure this is GMT +2. So yes, if you're into your Pokemon Day commemorative gift as well, you can see that there are, on the 27th, special booster packs from the Genetic Apex that will be given away. We'll also be seeing that there's some special missions that can be given away in the TCG Pocket for Pokemon. Their new app that came out in the last couple of months that is doing very, very well. For any of you that want to go check that out, I highly suggest that for your Pokemon Day commemorative gifts.
Rapid fire next, and we're gonna tell you some discount and some DLC going on. And what do we have, Dylan?
For our Nintendo US eShop, we can see that for our Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 Ultimate Edition is out for only $15.99. We also have our Warhammer 40k bolt gun, which is going for $15.39. We have our fitness boxing featuring Hatsune Miku. That's going for $34.99. Any of you Baby No Money fans out there will be quite into that one. We also then have our fitness boxing fist of the North Star, which is going for $4.99. We have some other discounts going with Prince of Persia Warrior Within, which is only $1.99 on GOG. We have Dragon Ball Super, the complete series on Blu-ray, which is currently on sale for the limited edition Steelbox, which is set at 39% off on your Amazon US. And we have the Batman and Robin Adventures Omnibus Hardcover Edition, which is on sale on Amazon for 44% off at only $41.63. The original price was $75, by the way.
For free at Epic Games, we have Garden Story and World War Z Aftermath. Both are free this week. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lord, is free via Epic Games Store mobile app. For Steam, we have Calorie Made Liquid for Game Creators is free on Steam, and also Golden Light from Steam is free to add to your library as well. Who from Steam, Young Blood on Xbox is free on Prime Gaming. I think that's also applied on PC as well. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet free mystery gift. You can get it by entering the promo code EU1C25 SUNNYDAY. Promotion ends February 28th, 2025. And for DLC and subscription, we got Patapon 3 is available on PS3 Premium, or you can get it for $9.99 for purchase. Disney Dream Night Valley next free update, Tales of Agrabah, launches on February 26th. You can get some new furniture, new outfits, and a new capybaras as your companion. In addition to this DLC, you will get a whole new rim, 2 new characters, an Oasis Retreat which is in Star Path, and lots of quality of life improvements as well. For Hades 2, we kind of talk about it. The War Song update is out. You will meet the Iris, the God of War, in this update. There are also new Arcana arts, new foes, new music, and new events for this update. For Nintendo Switch Online members, from February 24th to March 2nd, you can download and try the EA Sports FC 25 games at no additional cost. Members can also earn 100 My Nintendo Platinum points by participating in this game trial. Free update for Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC coming March 4th. Include features previously only available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS. And that's a rapid fire for this week. Dylan, what do you have for final thoughts?
Final thoughts is if you're not a gamer, you should pick up some games. You should go and look. The gaming industry is doing amazing. They're doing some very cool things at the moment. And if you're looking for some entertainment, it's all over the place. So I would suggest if you're a little bored in life, instead of going onto the internet and shouting obscenities at people, as I think we've covered a bit in today's discussions, rather just go watch a movie. Go take some of Jackie's suggestions and see some of those cool music, the new albums that's coming out. So many cool things.
Yes, and what we said earlier at the beginning of the show, we're gonna try some new formats and new ideas for the podcast. We will have new interview. So far, who signed up for our podcast, we will have Bird Box author Josh Mellerman will be here. Mike Carey, who is co-creator The Sandman Present Line, Lucifer, and many more, and maybe more guests in the future. We will let you know. And that's my final thoughts. And we will see you next week, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Thanks for listening to us. He said. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Every time's gonna make me what you want. Good and times gonna make me what. Every time's gonna make me what you wanna. Oh. Every time's gonna make me what you wanna. Cutting down's gonna make me what. Every time's gonna make me what you wanna. Oh.